A very pleasant good afternoon as we welcome you into another edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here from Quaker Steak and Lube. The dear Goon will be along momentarily as we will talk Penn State and Iowa coming up Saturday night at Kinnick Stadium, and it is going to be interesting because the truth is, I don't think anybody knows with any certainty, and I think that includes the folks in the Lash building, exactly what to expect here on Saturday night. It's been really, I think, fascinating to listen to some of the discussion from folks that were at practices leading up to the Northwestern game on how good they felt internally about what they were seeing in the response to the somewhat devastating loss to UCLA, coming on the heels of the heartbreaking loss to Oregon. So it wasn't, at least if you believe those that have come out and talked about what they saw at practices or felt at practices in the players' case, it wasn't a strong indication that, oh boy, Penn State's in big trouble here. So I'll be curious to know, all right, this is how the team looked in practice this week, and that did or did not translate into what we see Saturday night. And the truth is, with the way this thing has unfolded, and with the way, in particular, the line play has not developed to this point in the season, I would argue that there is a chance we will see Penn State play its best game of the season and still lose on Saturday night at Iowa. And I'm not 100% sure where that leaves us as a Penn State football community on feeling about the long-term prospects of the team and of the program. It is, on one hand, I think a vitally important game here on Saturday night. On the other hand, at this point, what does it mean? And I think you can argue that all day long. I could sit here and make a very good argument that, yes, this is very important that Penn State gets to a good bowl game now. The playoffs are out of the picture. They don't have to worry about that now. And again, you could argue that, hey, man, they could still, if you're the pie in the sky type of optimist, yep, they could still go 9-3, get two gigantic wins, a couple of other good wins under their belt, and really set the tone for next season and get everybody all feeling good again about the state of the program. Or this thing certainly has the potential to just completely fall apart. Either way, it just starts all over again once the head coach is named. And if it all falls apart and Penn State, let's say, goes 6-6 or even worse, or even, 7-5, 6-6, same difference, I think, really, in terms of the overall perspective of the program. Well, all that kind of answers is that Terry Smith to me probably, and I don't think this is necessarily fair to him, but I don't see how Terry Smith becomes the permanent head coach unless Penn State goes 5-1 down the stretch, his final 6 games of the regular season. That means you're beating one of the top 3 teams in the country right now. And again, Penn State at the moment is 3-3 and coming off losses to UCLA and Northwestern. It would seem very unlikely as we sit here today that Penn State, even if it does rally around Terry Smith, even if it does come back and play its best football, even if Ethan Brunkmeyer turns out to be the real deal and handles everything beautifully at quarterback, still think it's unlikely that you're looking at wins in either the Ohio State or the Indiana game. Not saying, again, it's college sports. Crazy things happen. One of those teams could have a day where they're just plagued with turnovers. Penn State can certainly, it's not that I don't think Penn State has talent on this roster to match up, but we're 6 games in, and the line play, the interior of the defensive line and the offensive line as a whole just has not given anybody any reason to believe, again, as we sit here right now, to think, all right, yep, this is a team that can go in and go toe-to-toe with Ohio State or welcome Indiana in and go toe-to-toe with the Hoosiers. Could we see some sort of I would say it would be a borderline miraculous turnaround with the line play? Sure, that's possible. UCLA, I will say, looked awful. They were getting pushed around earlier this season by lesser opponents. And then the last 2 weeks, I mean, their line play has been very, very good. Now, how much of that has to do with where Penn State and Michigan State are right now versus, nope, this UCLA line is really good, I guess we will find out in the coming weeks. The other part of the equation with the UCLA, because I'm seeing some folks say, listen, the blueprint for Penn State, you're seeing it with UCLA and the turnaround and what they're doing there. The thing with Penn State is this is largely with the exception of James Franklin, it is entirely, largely. I mean, there was one change made on this Penn State staff and the personnel. UCLA changed over a bunch of things. And, we'll see. Maybe after Saturday night, if things don't go well for Penn State, maybe there are some other changes made here midstream for the Nittany Lions this season. I'm not sure how beneficial really that would be for the program and trying to finish up this season. But I think, again, much like we talked about going into the Northwestern game, we'll know fairly early on whether or not this team is kind of just checked out or whether there is going to be a sense within the locker room that, yep, we need to rally for each other. We need to rally around Terry Smith. And again, I think even if they do that, a loss to Iowa could still occur. Certainly, at least a couple of more losses with Ohio State and Indiana looming are possible. Nebraska becomes an intriguing game for a bunch of different reasons down the stretch here as well. And because you're coming off losses to UCLA and Northwestern, and you have a program that probably has as much uncertainty as it ever has in any of the fans' lifetimes surrounding it right now, there's no givens here in terms of, all right, well, that's a win. No, there are no surefire wins. Again, maybe you could argue there never is in college football, but certainly there is not a sure victory here this season for the Nittany Lions remaining. But 2 games that you cautiously feel optimistic about, I would think, as we sit here right now, 2 that I think would go into the let's wait and see toss-up type of category, including Saturday night at Iowa, and then 2 games where, again, right now Penn State is clearly the underdog in the matchups with Ohio State and Indiana. As the Dear Goon joins us, Dear Goon just kicking around. Again, I don't really know, and I don't know that anybody does, what to expect here Saturday night. I know what everybody is hoping, that, they just come out and it all clicks and it comes together and they rally around and they go out and just win the game big at Iowa. That would be very cool. Again, I think they could play their best game of the season and come up short, and I'm not sure exactly where that leaves anybody. I don't know where that leaves the locker room. I'm not sure what the fan base really thinks at that point. But, I guess step one is let's just see what this thing looks like on Saturday night, see what the schemes look like, and then what the energy level looks like. And then we'll kind of reassess everything again as everybody within the program will after Saturday night.
Yeah, I'm, how do I say, cautiously optimistic and scared at the same time. Because I really don't know. I mean, honest to God, I mean, Terry in his press conference, again, he killed that press conference. I mean, I love his brutal honesty. It's great. But when he was sitting there saying, we got a lot of guys who are emotionally down and stuff like that, we're worried about our guys and then their mental, it's if you want to go play football or not. I mean, that's what they got to realize during the week. And if guys check out, get them off the field. And if you lose 75-0, you lose 75-0. But you got to put guys out there who want to play the game and want to. I know that some guys are upset because they feel as if it's their reason that James got fired and all that, which is obviously an honest response and an honest feeling those guys have, and it's common. But these guys got to realize that, like, hey, life goes on, and they got to play the game. And they're playing for the university, for themselves, their friends, their teammates, and do it for Terry and do it for James.
Yeah, it just I don't know. You going into this thing, you can see it playing out a bunch of different ways, and I don't think any would be terribly surprising. I really don't. I won't be shocked if it just looks like they have kind of called it a season here Saturday night. Again, they are out of the running, and I think they know it, for the playoffs and therefore a national championship, which is why everybody was stated they were coming back. That was the clear objective for the upcoming season. Now you've lost your coach. A lot of these guys are looking at setting themselves up for the National Football League and all of that. And then on the other hand, it's like, well, again, we want to rally around Terry Smith. We want to play for each other. We're still, Penn State. We still want to be, finish this thing up strongly, show who we are, perhaps help our NFL status with the way you play down the stretch. So, I don't know. I'm just curious to see what this thing looks like on Saturday night, and that's just from the energy or the competitive level. Then the other part, Goon, is do we see some different things? I don't think it's going to be radically different. Like, you're not going to see Penn State coming out running the wishbone, but what differences do we see from a game planning standpoint from Andy Kotelnicki and Jim Knowles? Like, do we see something that looks different? Again, in terms of what they're trying to accomplish, the way they're running the offense and the defense.
The way I'm looking at it is they have nothing to lose, so why won't you roll it out there and have some fun? I know Kotelnicki, we know he's very ingenuity. He's very good. I would like to know from the inside how much, we always suspected that James was interfering with the offense because a lot of the calls seem to be his calls, and he's on the headset when they were making those big calls late in games, and it just seems like he was part of it. And Kotelnicki, I think he's just going to say Terry's going to say, Andy, go ahead, have fun, go out there. We have nothing to lose, and then hope they go out there and have a good time. We can wishful think all we want, but I'm serious. I mean, if guys are out there and not wanting to play and not wanting to be there, they just got to go. They got to move on to the younger guys, and that's just the bottom line. It's sad that it's come to that, but that's the way the world is right now. I'm not happy with it. You're not happy with it. It's not the world we grew up in, but I hate to keep on beating a dead horse, but we went through this in 1992 with guys who just mailed it in for the last 5 games of the season. And, Joe kept on playing them, and then it was just like, why are you playing them? And then he ended up just saying, nah, it's done. And they put all the younger guys in, and it helped us for the future because we had some really good game experience as younger guys. So I don't know what Terry wants to do. That was a year after Terry left. But he knows all the guys on that team. I'm sure he was watching from afar. But it's a very similar situation with a lot of older guys who are NFL guys. But I'm going to tell you this much right now. Another thing, Jeff, is I'll tell you what, the NFL doesn't like guys who quit. And if you go out there as a senior or a guy who's going to go to the NFL next year, you better be ready to answer those questions. What the hell happened with football at Penn State on your senior year? What happened? Oh, well, James, our coach got fired. Oh, but why? What happened after that? What did you do to make that team better? I'm telling you, they're looking at that, and they will ask those questions of these guys. So if these guys are NFL prospects and want to play in the NFL, they sure as hell better be playing the next 6 games. They better not give up because the NFL will recognize that right away and hammer them.
Yeah. Again, it's not that I'm expecting. I don't think you're going to see guys go out and just like receivers short arm balls and offensive linemen just that guy got around me and just stop on the play. Like that's not what we're saying. But like, are you going to see guys kind of feeling like they are giving you just gritty efforts? Like, man, all right, that guy got by me, but I'm going to keep circling and seeing if I can, get at least a piece of, like, kind of the extra effort type of stuff from the running backs and right on through. The other component here, Goon, and, I've been thinking about this because I think there's a good number of fans that are like, all right, you'll see Ironhead and others that didn't understand what's really going on. That this offense is going to open up, and you're going to see Andy Kotelnicki go wild. Well, you have a first-time starter at quarterback, folks. Like, this is not the ideal situation, right, to be throwing all kinds of new things in an offense when you're trying to get a new guy acclimated, meaning new guy to the starting lineup. I get he's been in the program now for his second year, but I'm going to be really, really curious just to see how this looks, what they try to accomplish. And I could even make the argument there, well, yeah, Ironhead, that's exactly why they should just open it up and let it loose, there's no expectation here for Brunkmeyer or for this offense, given where it's been through the first 6 games. So let them go out there, wheel and deal, have some fun. If they end up turning the ball over a few times, so be it. Let's at least go down swinging, if you will, in this particular matchup. And again, then you can reassess. So I get that argument. I would make that argument, actually. I think, again, you got to give Brunkmeyer what he can handle. But from everything we've heard, Goon, going back to last year, like in practice, I mean, he's got a good arm. He has a good understanding. I don't think this is a guy that's going to come out and have that deer in the headlights look. Yeah. But this is a circumstance that we've just never seen at Penn State before with this coaching change.
And I'm with you. I mean, I want everything in the world to go right for these guys on Saturday night. I want them to come out there and be like that fresh new team that's like, okay, this burden is off of our shoulders. Let's go out and have some fun and play some football and really enjoy doing it and throw it out there. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But we're sure as hell going to fight and have fun doing it. I mean, that's the way I am with it. I hope that we see that. I hope and pray that there's pride amongst these guys to go out and play. And you're right. It's not going to be guys like sitting there. I'm not making that tackle. No way. I'm not doing that. It's the extra effort stuff. It's the extra stuff that goes into winning games that I want to see. I don't want guys like just getting through and just saying, oh, okay, whatever. We lost 50-0. I mean, first of all, there are harder places to play in the Big Ten than Kinnick Stadium. There's not many, maybe 1 or 2, but this is a pretty hard place to play. And on a Saturday night, and those Big Western Iowa, but they're on that corn whiskey, man. That place is going to be loud and crazy. So don't think Kirk Ferentz would not want to hang 40 or 50 on Penn State. Do not think for a second he wouldn't want to do that. We better be ready to play when we go out there. I think that they're going to rally around Terry. I mean, Jeff, we still have a highly, highly, highly talented team out there. And it's just going to go out and just see. We have to have the leadership go out there and call guys out. If they're not playing, bang them, get them out.
Yeah, to me, it's the line play, and I just don't know how you flip the switch there. Because, again, we're 6 games in. I get now coaching change, and Nick Dawkins talked about there's kind of a feeling of guilt, at least for him and some in that locker room. That's fine. We're halfway through the season, and we just have not seen this line look like it is a line that can be really competitive at a high level in the Big Ten. There is talent on the roster, including on the offensive line, but I'll be surprised. I would love to see it. I'll just be surprised if all of a sudden, all right, yep, man, that offensive line looks like they're ready to just kick butt and they'll dominate things here Saturday night. That just doesn't seem like
you just don't turn that on. It's not an on and off button, a hot or cold button. It's not that. I mean, these guys really got to go out there and bust their humps, be decisive, quit playing indecisive, come off the ball, play hard. Maybe they're going to say, you know what? Let's pound these guys. Let's pound the rock. Let's do what we want to do. Take the pressure off of Grunk. Let's run the ball. Let's go out there the first couple series. Let's get the run game going. Let's do what we were like the whole season we thought we were going to do, and that's pound the ball. And if that means bringing an extra offensive lineman in and going double tight with, a strong offensive line, then do it. You want to go 5 receivers and throw the ball around, then do it. Have fun doing it, but something's got to change because you're right. It's not an on-off button. They're just not going to miraculously be improved from 5 days ago because their coach got fired. That's not how it works. So, the ball is going to bounce our way a few times this week. I know we'll be ready to do it. I know Terry will have these guys prepared. And I'm going to tell you, these guys are going to play for him. They are. He is such a good man that they don't. I mean, if they feel guilt about James, I know they're going to feel even guiltier if they don't go out and they don't produce for Terry Smith. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, I don't disagree that they'll play hard. Yep. I guess my question is, what does that mean here now for the rest of the season? Both Saturday night and Iowa, it's interesting. Iowa's a 3-point favorite, which basically is the 3 points for home field. So they're, Vegas is telling you they see this.
2 weeks ago, it was 10, game. Jeff. 10. It was 10 points 2 weeks ago. That's a 13-point swing.
Yeah. And again, that is completely understandable given what Iowa did last week against Wisconsin and now what Penn State has done these last couple of games, along with certainly that night atmosphere at Kinnick is right up there with some of the best in the Big Ten, if not in the country. So that's the thing. Penn State could rally around Terry Smith, play well, still lose this game, still lose 3 more games, and end up with a sub-500 record. And I think that's one of the difficult things for most covering and following this Penn State program to accept or to come to terms with. Again, as we sit here today, very unlikely, I think, Goon, that they beat Ohio State or Indiana. Again, it's college sports, as I mentioned earlier. Certainly not saying it can't happen, but boy, that feels very unlikely as we sit here today. Well, if that turns out to be true, your best case scenario here is 7-5. And I think when you look at it right now, Iowa feels like more of a toss-up type of a game, and Nebraska feels like more of a toss-up type of a game, in part because that one will be at Beaver Stadium. And then, Michigan State and Rutgers, you'd like to chalk up as W's, but given what we see in the last 2 weeks, nothing is going to be chalked up as automatic here this season. And so to me, how this thing finishes up does matter. And then on the other hand, doesn't, because whether Penn State, even if they turn it around completely and they shock the world and beat Ohio State and Indiana and go 9-3, then in some ways I think it's putting Pat Kraft in a really difficult spot where do you go with Terry Smith then? It would be hard to argue against it if he takes a team that was 3-3 and with that same talent turns it into 9-3 and knocks off two of the current top three teams in the country. Again, if you feel like there's somebody that's a better, I think Pat Kraft would do that. I'm not saying that if Smith does it, he's automatically in. I just think then it becomes, then you're going to have a divided situation. And I mean, in some ways, that's almost the worst case scenario for Pat Kraft, because now you're going to have a section, and I suspect it will be a substantial amount of that locker room that's going to say, listen, this is our guy. You need to do this. And if you don't, we're out of here. Or do you, if you do feel like, man, this is the guy, though, this other guy is who we need to bring in, and risk kind of ripping the whole thing apart and having to go through the whole transfer portal and everything else that's going to come with it. Again, I think it's an unlikely thing that and it would be a wonderful thing to have to be confronted with in terms of concerns for this program. Oh, geez, do we go with the guy who's 6-0 with wins over Indiana and Ohio State, or do we go with this other guy who we think could bring a national championship? That is, in some ways, best case scenario. You have two likely great options, but also, again, I think that's going to make it very, very difficult for Pat Kraft and whatever the search committee looks like here in terms of making that decision.
Yeah, I mean, you make no bones about it. This is Pat Kraft's future. This is his decision, and this decision will be his legacy. Because if he butchers this one and it's bad, then it might be on him. That if it's a bad decision that he makes on who the next coach is, then it could come back on him, and he might get skedaddled out. So it's an important choice for him. Now, let's not forget, Terry Smith coached he coached at Temple with Pat. So Pat knows Terry Smith.
Oh.
This is not his first run around with T. Smalls. So T. Smalls goes 6-0 and beats Ohio State and beats Indiana, and the kids are playing for him, and he's letting the coordinators coordinate and do their jobs. I'm on board with him staying here and being the guy. I mean, that would be great because you know what? The team's not going to leave. They're rallying around him. We know what kind of talent we have. I mean, at one point, we're ranked 2 in the damn country, so we have to have some kind of talent out here. We're just not getting it out of guys. So if Terry brings it out of guys, then yes, I have no issues with him being the next guy. None at all. I mean, and we're going to see that. I mean, but I will say this because I think the players will rally around him if they do that, and they are playing. They will want Terry, and I'm okay with that. But there's only one place that I know of in the history of college football that when the players when they revolted and said, we want this guy, and pressed the athletic director to keep him, the only place that's ever worked was Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame. That is really the only place I've ever seen it work. I mean, I've seen Miami do it with Randy Shannon. A couple other teams I've seen do it. Michigan, when they wanted a Michigan man in that position, they brought Brady Hoke in, and that was a flop. All of this stuff. So a lot of the guys, I mean, this is a huge, huge week or month or rest of the year for Terry Smith and this team and this program. If they buy into Terry, he does very well, and they get rid of Terry to bring somebody else in, you're starting from scratch because I think that we would lose 50% to 75% of the team, I think, would transfer out personally. So this is an important couple weeks here for Penn State, and especially for Terry and our guys. I personally think they're going to play for him. He has that personality where he's going to get it out of these guys and go out and play. And again, it's up to our leaders to call guys out if they're not balling. Show the inner fortitude to go out there and say, you know what, this guy doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to play. Get him off the field. And the coach has got to have the inner fortitude to get him out of there. So it's going to be a long weird couple months here, Jeff. There's no doubt about that, man.
It really is. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll talk about this Iowa game and maybe some of the things that we think are going to be keys. And this is a different one. It's not your normal X's and O's, although certainly that will play into it as well. But this is, again, a game that I don't think anybody really has a sense for what to expect here on Saturday night. And in some ways, maybe that plays in Penn State's favor. We'll pick up on that on the other side of this timeout. You are listening to the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox.
No one likes making trips to the gas station. Well, Lion Country Kia can help. If you're tired of going to the gas station all the time, Lion Country Kia can help with the 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid. Save now with 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months. And get $500 Kia Finance bonus cash. There's 14 available that get 38 MPG combined. Say goodbye to all those pump visits. 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrids start at just $32,285. And be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too. And their selection of certified pre-owned Kias. Remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Ease that pain at the pump with a 38 MPG combined 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid from Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drivable Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things. Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again.
The Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7 The Fox, State College, the Goon and Ironhead.
And back here on a Thursday afternoon ahead of the Penn State Iowa game this weekend, as well as the Steelers and the Bengals tonight in Cincinnati, 8:15 kickoff. We will have live coverage of that game starting at 7:30 here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox. Also, just crazy to me, Goon. This will be week 9 of the high school football season. We only have 1 week left in the regular season after tomorrow night. I know we say it every year, but it is insane how quickly time goes by as you get older. But these high school seasons, man, they fly by. State College off to a terrific start, 7-1 on the season, heading into tomorrow night's game at Carlisle, which is winless on the season. So State High looking in very good shape here as they make the turn toward the postseason. We'll get into maybe some baseball talk a little bit later.
What if it's LaSalle High School versus State High, buddy? All over again, another state title game. First, our schools will go at it. Jeez, we'll have a showdown there.
I would be all right with that. Sign me up.
I don't know. The last time it was in 11 inches of snow, so I don't know if I want to be there for that.
That it was. Yeah, tickets are on sale. Speaking of potential bad weather but great atmosphere type of games, and we don't know yet, obviously, on the weather front, but the outdoor hockey game at Beaver Stadium for Penn State, those tickets are now on sale for the general public, and man, that is going to be fun. A fun weekend the whole way around for Penn State sports fans later this winter. But back to the task at hand, dear Goon, Iowa on Saturday night. I don't know. They were talking on Joe Lednowski this afternoon with the Pennsylvania Sports Network about the wishing that this game was home on Saturday, and that it would be, certainly from Brett Byers' standpoint and the offense, yes, that would be nice. But of course, I thought this with the UCLA game. We talked about it, Goon. We thought that going out there and having the road trip there, now for different reason, but thought maybe that was the best thing, and they didn't respond the way you were hoping they would as a Penn State fan. This one, from a rallying again around each other, hey, it's us against the world type of thing. And in some ways, I do think being on the road helps in that regard, or at least has the potential to help in that regard. But as with everything, you just have to see what actually transpires now Saturday night. I have no feel for how this thing is going to play out, because I'm not even sure. Like, Wisconsin is really down this year, and Iowa looked tremendous last week. But I'm not sure how much of that has to do. Iowa's going to be a solid team. Like, that's, if there is a program in the Big Ten that defines solid, it is Iowa. Like, it's going to be a well-coached team. They are going to be gritty. They are going to be hard-nosed. But talent-wise, right? I mean, Penn State should have the edge in terms of overall talent. But we're coming off back-to-back games where that didn't seem to matter much. So I just don't know. I don't know if Penn State will match the energy level of Iowa. I'm with you. I think they'll rally around Terry Smith. I guess it's more for me, what does that ultimately mean? How does that manifest itself? It's one thing to play emotional. It's another to play well. And I don't know. I don't know if this team will play well. I don't know if this version of Penn State football, how well they're capable of playing this season.
I'm just going to say, let's just go out and have fun. I mean, geez, it just seems like these guys have had their buttholes have been clenched the whole season. When they don't play well, they just don't play well. And it's just like, again, they have too long of memories. I mean, you got to forget all that stuff. Go out the field and have fun and play the game. It's going to be a tough place to play, but it's also a fun place to play. It's fun to go out there and do that type of stuff. The best thing in the world is winning and shutting fans up. It's great. It's an unbelievable feeling. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have zero idea what to expect. I mean, zero. I mean, are we going to go out and when we say, oh, they're going to play for Terry, what does that mean? And I don't know what that means. I really don't. Other than just going above and beyond, like Everybody going at 125 miles an hour. Everybody just playing and doing the extra, working their tails off, busting their butts, making the extra block, hustling, doing this, doing that, Is that what we're looking for? Is that what, playing for Terry means? Or I'm just interested to see how the offense does. I mean, I really am. The pressure's off. It truly is off of this team because it's like, okay, no, it's national title or bust. That's not happening. The playoffs aren't happening. You can still have a good season. You can still up your draft stock because I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of guys' draft stocks went down. And if that's what they're worried about, they need to work their butts off to get that draft stock going back up. So they got to go out and play hard and do the extra effort, go with the extra effort, and make everything happen. Hustle on defense. Hustle on special teams. Get a turnover here or there, Help Bruckmeyer out. Get the extra block when you're the offensive lineman. Chase the ball down the field. Who knows? You may pick up a fumble. You may get that extra block that springs for a long run. Who knows? I mean, let's just go out and have some fun. Let the coordinators coordinate. I mean, I always suspected James he held Konolnicki back with a lot of his stuff with him on the headset. I truly, truly believe that. And I didn't like when that happened because it's like, he's your coordinator for a reason. You bought him here for a reason. Let him coordinate. I can't imagine Jim Knowles allowing James Franklin to say, hey, shut up, we're doing this, I just can't see that happening. What, did that happen with Konolnicki? I don't know. If you ask me my opinion, yes, that did happen. I think it happened. I mean, why do you think we went through so many damn coordinators in 5 years or 8 years, I mean, we were going through a coordinator every 3 or 4 years there for his whole career. Do I think he meddled? Yes. That's what I think. So let's go out. Let's Konolnicki just air it out and have some fun, man. And they don't know what Bruckmeyer can do. I mean, they don't know his game, So, I mean, there's a young guy back there. If these older guys up front, take care of the young buck. Protect, Bust your humps, man. Bust your butts out there.
Yeah, Iowa's defense has been very good. Held Indiana to 20 points, which the way the Hoosiers are playing, that actually is a very impressive number that I will put up on the defensive side there. And you do wonder what Iowa is preparing for this week. I'm sure they're trying to prepare for, hey, we don't know. We just need to be solid with our base and we'll react to, accordingly to what we see. I think Iowa has been very much running the type of offense that Penn State fans expected to see the Nittany Lions, which is they have been very efficient with their short passing game, really taking advantage of the shorter passes, getting 4, 5, 6 yards at a clip. And then the running game has been very good. And so, I mean, normally I would say this is a game that is going to come down to time of possession and which team can really establish the running game. I don't know. I don't know what to expect here with Penn State. I mean, you would think the running game certainly has to be a big part of the equation if Penn State is going to be successful Saturday night and for the remainder of the season. But is whatever has been wrong with the offensive line to this point, is it fixable to where you can get that running game going similar to the way you had it going at the end of last season? And on one hand, I'm thinking, well, yeah, it's the same personnel. Of course, they could get that going. On the other, I'm saying we're 6 games in, and we've seen no indication that this line is that type of line again this year. So I think Penn State needs to come out and try to establish the run, whether you do that by using the passing game to set it up. That seems risky with a first-time starter at quarterback. But, again, this is the other thing. I can make the argument both ways here. Terry Smith, is he playing with house money and absolutely nothing to lose? On one hand, yes. On the other, probably he needs to go 5-1, right? I'll get your thoughts on this. In my mind, he has to go 5-1 to have a real shot here at being the permanent head coach, at being the answer. I don't think 4-2, even if it looks really good and it's, very competitive, tough losses to Ohio State and Indiana. Penn State has seen coaches that are able to get the Nittany Lions close in those big games. Again, is it a large enough sample size to be fair to Terry Smith? No, but I don't think 4-2 gets Terry Smith the permanent head coaching gig.
And, Terry's not just coaching for Penn State either now. He's coaching for his professional future. That if he does go 4-2 and beats an Indiana or an Iowa or an Ohio State, somebody's going to be looking at him to make him a head coach in college soon. So this is a big tryout for Terry for sure, not just for Penn State, but nationally for another job that comes open.
Yeah, and this is the other part of the good is you can say the same thing for this entire coaching staff, right? Yeah. Again, on one hand, playing with house money, nothing to lose. On the other, if they do like it here in Happy Valley, that this is their one shot, meaning these last 6 games. And again, I think for any or at least for very many of them to be retained and to be part of the next staff, whether it's Terry Smith in charge or a new head coach coming from outside the program. Again, to me, they've got to probably go 5-1 to have any chance. So they're playing for at least their Penn State coaching career here as well.
I agree. I mean, all of them. Kotelnicki, Knowles. I mean, I know that Jim's an older guy, but I don't know if he has head coach aspirations or not. I don't think he does. I mean, I think that he's just here to be the DC. If he keeps on going, I mean, if he, as in Jim Knowles, then they look to be retained here. That's what they're playing for. That's what they're coaching for, is being retained by the new head coach, whether it's Terry, whether it's, who the heck knows? I mean, are we going to get into that? I mean, all this speculation of who the next coaches are, it's. I think this might be a crazier one than after Bill O'Brien or after Joe. I mean, this is nuts because it is an in-season thing. I do want to talk about this, Jeff. It seemed like the national media was like almost daring Penn State to fire James the way they were talking about him for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they do fire him, and then they all come firing back like, oh, what's Penn State looking for? What are they trying to do? I mean, geez, the guy's mid-season. You didn't give him a chance, and his record and this and that. And it's like, well, what did you want? The national media it's so fickle sometimes. So we'll talk about that, but that's where I'm at. But yes, our coaches and our coordinators are definitely coaching for their coaching futures, whether it be here or elsewhere. Good. I mean, they're going to have a nice little. They're going to have 6 games to do it. Hopefully, maybe 7 with a bowl, but who knows?
Yeah, and a bowl is certainly not guaranteed right now. From the message board, man, they sound and have played like they are the most mentally weak team I have ever seen from PSU. It's like they're 12 years old, learn how to compartmentalize your emotions. Yes and no. Again, there are so many different components. We talk about football being the ultimate team sport, and it really is because we were talking about with the offensive line last week, Goon, where again, you can have 4 guys doing their job and one guy's mistake messes it up. Or the other part of it is sometimes everybody messes up and to go to the Rose Bowl, the first play. But I mean, so sometimes like something happens and your running back gets through anyway, or the quarterback makes a dazzling play and it's like, well, half the guys did the wrong thing and it worked out. So again, the luck component comes into it. The emotion thing, yes and no on the yes, you need to compartmentalize. I mean, when my high school coach, Ron Pavlechko, used to talk all of the time, and many coaches do. I mean, it wasn't unique, but I'm just saying I got this message when I was in high school where, hey, once you get onto the field, forget about if you're having problems with classes or at home or with girlfriends, because guess what? There's nothing you can do about that for the next hour and a half while you're on this football field. So sitting there thinking about any of that stuff isn't going to help you with any of that stuff, and certainly not with your football, right? And obviously everybody would agree, well, yeah, you're absolutely right. Also, if you're going through something that is really difficult, you've just lost a pet or your girlfriend just broke up with you, like, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. That's what you should do. Also, not easy to get your emotions. And, well, Ironhead, these are guys that are now getting paid, and we're not talking high school, we're talking college. Okay. And again, I will tell you that, yes, that is the right thing to do, compartmentalize. And I'm just telling you that it is much easier said than done. It's a thing that not a lot of people can truly do that effectively day in and day out. And those that do, by the way, are wildly successful, generally speaking, because they are good at doing that. But human nature is, it gets in the way sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the whole, how mentally tough these kids are and this and that. And then that's going to come back to a generational thing. Are they tough? Are they mentally tough? I don't know. I mean, I don't have kids. I don't have kids that are 20-some years old. But, I mean, it just seems like they shield these kids a whole bunch. It's just like, let them be men. I mean, they don't want to let them get, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to sound like the grumpy old man telling kids to get off my freaking lawn here. I mean, that's how I feel when it comes to like are they, how are they doing emotionally and stuff like that? That's fine if you want to do that. But, I mean, just go out there and play the freaking game. You're paid to play. You're on scholarship to play. You're representing Penn State. Go out and do it. I mean, no more excuses. I mean, I know that the mental health is a big, huge aspect of this world, but I still am. I mean, they call me Goon for a freaking reason. I mean, it's just like they're so worried about these kids, and just let them be kids. Let them be football players. I mean, let them have their own time and their own team and go out there and do this or do that. And it does alarm me that Terry's like telling, he goes out there and he goes, yeah, we got to worry about how are these kids doing mentally and stuff like that. It's just like, you and I come the same cloth back in the day where your father said, get your ass out there and play football. Paterno would say, I don't care. Like you just said, you're on my time right now. You're not on your own time. You cross that blue line. There was always that blue line in the practice field at Penn State. You cross that blue line, you put everything else back there. We don't want to hear about it. You're not thinking about that test you have tomorrow, your ex-girlfriend, your ex-boyfriend. Something at home's going wrong. Anything like that. Yes, that stuff happens to these kids, but they need to get past that and work through it. When you get on the football field, go out there, have fun. Dude, you don't want to play for Penn State? Play for your brothers. Play for your teammates. They're your best friends. Go out there and play for them. Sit there 40 years from now and say, dude, horrible senior year, but what a way to finish it. We beat Ohio State. We beat Iowa. We beat Indiana. My God, we got Terry Smith that job. He's still there. He's still there 22 years later, I mean, that's what just go out and play ball. Go out and have fun. Play the game. Enjoy the crowd. Suck the crowd up. They're going to be loud and yelling at you and this and that. Eat it up. Go out there and smash the guy in front of you and then point to the crowd and say, look at your boy. I just smashed him. Go out and have fun. Do it. Goon. I'm a goon. That's all I know, Ironhead. All I know.
Well, and listen, at the end of the day, it is a game. Like, let's go out and have fun playing your game. I also, you can do worse than Cale Sanderson for coaching advice. And one of the mantras around the Penn State program, and Cale started this very early on, is the so what. And what that is like guys will come in and, oh man, classes were hard today. So what? Are you going to let that stop you from being a national champion and being effective in practice today? Well, no. Oh man, I'm tired. My phone went off at midnight last night, and I couldn't get back to sleep till 1, and I'm tired. Yeah, so what? Are you going to let that stop you from practicing your hardest today and derail you on your mission from the goal that you've set for yourself in the upcoming season? My girlfriend is breaking up with me. So what? Are you going to? And so, meaning, so what? What? Yeah, life is hard for everybody. We all have stuff that we're dealing with. Everybody's going through something at some point, and it's the idea of also, well, man, I won the lottery. Yeah, so what? That doesn't change the work you've got to put in today to be a national champion. Oh man, I just got a $300,000 NIL deal. So what? That doesn't. What does that have to do with you putting your tail on the line here for the next 90 minutes to make yourself the best wrestler you can be? And so it's the same thing, good or bad, right? Like you got to just work your tail off for the time you're in practice and then take care of the rest of it too. We've talked about all of the different things. Mental health is part of it, but also, get your rest. Make sure you're eating right. Don't do the stupid things lifestyle-wise that are going to detract from your opportunity to try to become the best football player and therefore your team, the best team it can be. And, so I think a reminder that, hey, this is a game this week. And so for all the pressure that we're talking about for all of these guys, they're all very handsomely paid, the assistants and right on down the line. So if they're looking for new jobs at the end of the year, it's going to be a tough situation. And I'm not saying there's no sympathy there, but also it's not the same type of devastating life situations that others are facing when they lose a job. And then they're trying to figure out how they're going to make, a meal for their kiddos the next time around. That's not the situation these coaches are facing, and neither is it now the situation that these players are facing moving forward. So having that right perspective that, hey, we got to work our tail off, and also the pressure is what you want to make of it. Is there really any pressure? You have a chance to just go out, play a game, have some fun, see if you can win, and then you get to do it all over again the following, well, in this case, it'll be 2 weeks from Saturday night. Will we play it too safe with Gronk and run the ball? We were made to believe Levis and Bo could only run when they played for an injured teammate. Listen, I will say that the most effective this offense has looked all season is when they were having Aller run the ball. So to me, that has to be part of the equation here for this team moving forward is, that have some QB draws in there, or at least have some plays where there's an option. And what I'm hoping for, listen, I think they need to run the ball. And maybe that's going to be an internal battle too. Is do you call that playing it safe? I call it playing to your strength, or at least what I still think should be their strength. I guess it's hard to argue that that's been a real strength through 6 games this season, but can it be a strength? I guess I still want to see if it can be and develop into that. And I don't think it's going to be a situation where Penn State comes out and all of a sudden they fixed all of this, and against a stout Iowa defense, both Singleton and Allen go off for 100 yards plus. But that's what we were seeing at the end of last year. And I think you have to be working toward figuring out how you can get that again moving forward. And so I do think that has to be a big part of the equation here on Saturday night. And I think part of the challenge that the coaching staff has to be giving these players is, are you tough enough? Are you guys gritty enough to be what we need for Penn State football moving forward, both this season and beyond? And if you are, then let's go out and prove it. So it has to be a challenge of yeah, listen, this is a really good physical defense that you're playing here Saturday night. You need to be tougher. You need to be stronger. You need to show up bigger in the big moments. And, I think there has to be an honest conversation. You haven't done that, not in any of these first 6 games. You need to do that and then see how the players respond, see what you get here Saturday night.
Well, okay, if they want to go out there and run the ball, then they go out and try to run the ball. I mean, if they want to go out there and Grunk throwing the ball around, I mean, again, there's no pressure on these guys. I mean, let's go out and have some fun, throw the ball around, take care of Grunk. And if it has been the running game that's been hurting us, let's really try to work the running game. I mean, let's go back to like square zero, like to the start, and say, okay, let's start. That's how Terry can approach this, and say, hey, we're 0-0 right now, guys. We got a 6-game schedule to play this year. We got 3 Bears to start off with, so let's go with it. There's a lot of ways that he can handle this, and there's again, like I said, he needs to have a good feel for this team. That if guys aren't playing, he needs to pull them. He really does. I want to see Cousins out there more. I'd like to see Shanahan out there more. I know that Terry had mentioned that Cousins has been hurt. That's really the first time I actually really heard any of that he was in and out of practice because he was in games all the time. I mean, I thought he would get more time, but he didn't. But let's see what Cousins can do. Let's see what Shanahan can do out there. If Dalk's not going great at center, let's get another center in there to try to see what we could do out there. I mean, just go out there. Again, I don't want to keep beating the dead horses. That's what I'm doing is go out, throw it out there, have fun. There's nothing we can change. There's nothing that's going to change right now. James is gone. It's not coming back. I know it's a weird season and all that, and holy crap, it's obviously nothing that we've ever been around, but okay, it is what it is. Let's work through it.
The Dear Booch has joined us. We're going to take a break here, but we're going to get some of his thoughts on the other side of this timeout. It is the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here on Sports Radio 98.7 The Fox.
No one likes making trips to the gas station. Well, Lion Country Kia can help. If you're tired of going to the gas station all the time, Lion Country Kia can help with the 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid. Save now with 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months. And get $500 Kia Finance bonus cash. There's 14 available that get 38 MPG combined. Say goodbye to all those pump visits. 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrids start at just $32,285. And be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too. And their selection of certified pre-owned Kias. Remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Ease that pain at the pump with a 38 MPG combined 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid from Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drivable Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXX, once again.
Your sports radio. Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS America.
98.7 The Fox State College. The Goon and Ironhead.
And once again, we are back here on a Thursday afternoon as we get ready for Penn State, Iowa, Kinnick Stadium here on Saturday night. And Booch, we've been kicking around. I'm just not sure what to expect. I know what I'm hoping to see, but I just don't have any feel for how I think this thing is going to play out Saturday night. It's just such a unique situation, certainly for Penn State, and just not something we've ever seen ever in these parts. And so with that unprecedented territory, I'm not even sure necessarily, obviously a lopsided win would make everybody feel great. I'm just not sure really, though, what makes me feel good or concerned going into the rest of the season based on what we see one way or the other here Saturday night, because Ohio State and Indiana are what they are to this point in the season. And again, good, bad, and different here Saturday night. I just I don't know. I don't know what to make of this game in particular at this stage.
Yeah, well, no coach is ever going to have a rougher ride plopped in his lap than what happened with Bill O'Brien. But this is a pretty rough situation in which to place Terry Smith. I'm glad it's him. I thought, anybody who sat around me at the Northwestern game can verify that I said Terry Smith is going to be the guy. But yeah, to your point,
no other option there.
What's that?
There really was no other option.
I agree.
I mean, normally
100%.
you might say offensive or defensive coordinator, but the situation had gotten so toxic with this fan base. And I mean, as soon as we heard the news, before the news came out about Terry Smith, I said to my wife, I said, well, Terry Smith is the only, they don't have any other options. Like that has to be the interim coach. And
12 years in the program, the only holdover from the original James Franklin staff from all the way back in 2014, a guy who's a Penn State legacy, as well as a father of two Penn State grads, including one of the most consequential recruits and players in Penn State history. This guy just bleeds blue and white through and through. He's a letterman, an impact guy. I heard Goon talking in the first hour about that transition from Terry just missing that 92 team by a year, but he's been through it, man. And if there's anybody I would want in this position trying to stabilize things, Terry's the guy. But as you said, the only thing you can take from any of this is at least after he gets through the roller coaster ride of this week, he gets a bye week to try to focus on stabilizing things, trying to keep recruits and kids who are going to have a chance to transfer in the fold. By the way, I don't know if you guys are aware of this. I certainly wasn't as we were recording this latest obligatory pregame show we released earlier in the week. But with the change to the transfer portal window, apparently, from what I'm understanding, and I'm not 100% on this, but it seems to be the case, into effect immediately. I thought this was at the end of the year, but it's apparently right now. There's no longer a 30-day transfer window for coaching changes. If your coach is fired in season, you now have a 15-day window that goes into effect 5 days after the new hiring is announced. So I guess thank the Lord for small favors. At least Terry's not in the position of having to, as Bill did, re-recruit the entire roster as he's trying to manage everything else this season.
Yeah. Grateful for small favors, and that one is probably a little bigger than small.
Also, by the way, totally indicative of what a mess the NCAA is, that they're just like changing these rules midstream. Again, I'm grateful for it. I'm not complaining too much. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth, but it is nuts, right? That UCLA fired their head coach in September, and those kids got a 30-day window. Penn State fires James Franklin, and probably Billy Napier's about to get fired at Florida in October, and a different set of rules apply. Like, if that is not hashtag NCAA, I don't know what is.
I don't know if the red shirt thing comes into that, Booch. You know
well,
what I mean?
It does.
Does that play into it? Because they fired the UCLA coach before 4 games. You know what I mean? Where James got fired after 7 weeks in. So I wonder, because you can only play 4 games and you can still redshirt, the fact that our team has played 6 games and they made the move, I wonder if that affects that time, because they can't redshirt now.
Well, so here's the thing. There are still guys with they haven't played 4 games. So I'm gonna kill 20 seconds of time here while I pull it up. I actually have a list that was prepared for us by the good research team at forthebloggy.com on impact players who could sit out and retain their red shirts if for when they do get to that transfer portal window. So on offense, you've got Cooper Cousins and Kobe Howard. Cooper's played in 4 games so far, Kobe in 2. And then on defense, guys who have played 4 or fewer games heading into Iowa. Ivan Kamaju, freshman defensive end, Zion Tracy, Tony Rojas. This has been brought up, actually, that Tony could still keep his red shirt if he wanted to. Now, he's an upperclassman who's probably maybe going to play another year of college ball, but I think then for sure will be ready to go to the NFL. I don't know how much that matters for Tony. But Jameer Joseph, underclassman corner, underclassman defensive tackle, Randy Adarica, another true freshman there. Cam Smith and Alex Tatch, both linebackers, Cortez Harris. So there are players on this team who could either just make it clear that they're not going to play any more football this season, a la Bear Alexander at USC last year, or, develop a chronic shoulder or elbow injury suddenly and just not get back into it. And all of it, as you guys have been discussing, is going to be, I think, in some way, dependent on how good a job Terry and the rest of the staff can do refocusing these kids. And on one hand, like I said, you feel great about Terry as the conductor of that orchestra, and you like the fact that you have so many lettermen on staff. I mean, I love the idea of guys like AZ, Goon, and Dan Connor in there helping to steer the ship in this situation. On the other hand, this has not looked like the most mentally tough football team you've ever seen in your life. So who knows? It's if nothing else, going to be way less predictable than the result we saw against Northwestern last week.
Hey, Booch, let's just take the blue-white player show into consideration right now and how hard it is after a loss to get one of these guys to come on. Yeah. That's where I'm at. I mean, you want your adulation when it's out there. They all love taking it in, but when it comes to any kind of criticism or anything like that, oh, no, we're worried about our guys. We're worried about our guys. And you can't have it all that every way. So, I mean, again, if you were listening, Booch, so you heard me say it earlier. They don't call me Goon for nothing. I'm a freaking idiot. I'm a psycho, but I'm also old school and this and that. And it's like, I don't know, man. Go out, show some. I want to say the word, but I'm just saying inner fortitude. I'm just using that word as in a good way, and go out there, show some inner fortitude and some pride and some toughness that you don't want to be remembered as that team that this happened to. I mean, go out there like Bill had the 2012 team start 0-2. Those kids turned it around, man. They believed in him. So I hope Terry has that same kind of swag about him. So, I mean, because I would love to see him. I would love to see Terry take that. I would not have a problem with Terry taking the program over. But he's got to prove it with these kids, These kids got to go out and ball.
So here's the difference between Bill's kids and the team we have now here at Penn State, and I think just everywhere in college football. So I don't want to make it sound like I am trying to specifically pin this on our players or even on James Franklin. I was listening earlier today, and I would encourage people to go check it out. Matt Millen talked to the Big Ten Network a little bit about all this. Did you catch that, Ironhead?
I did. Yeah.
And I love Matt's perspective on it. But, man, you are not going to find a more old school, hard-nosed Pennsylvania football personality, right? And listening to Matt just talk about what Penn State means to him, and I especially love guys who kind of had a reputation of being a problem child for Joe when they were in school. And then they get out and you get a little bit of that wisdom that comes with age and you experience more of life and you look back and your tone changes. That's Matt Millen. That 2012 team, those Iron Lions, they had a lot of that Matt Millen in them. Like those guys, they cared about Penn State to the core of their being. Like it really mattered to them that Penn State football and everything it represented was not going to go to hell on their watch. In the current environment in college football, I just don't know if that's ever going to be anything even a place like Penn State can achieve again. I hear this talk about, well, we got to make sure we get a coach who can bring a quarterback with him. And I'm like, no, you know what? Like wherever we get the coach from, I hope the quarterback at that school tells him to get bent and says, don't let the door hit your butt on the way out. But I'm the quarterback of this team and I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to Penn State with you. You want to go, you get out, but I'm staying here. I don't think that'll happen. But that's this whole idea that these guys are going to go out and play for the glory of Old State. That's not college football anymore. I said to my wife the other day, I said, old heads like me, when we use the term pro football player, we're talking about guys who are in the NFL or, whatever, the UFL or the, the Canadian or the European League. We're not talking about college football players. Well, that's a misnomer at this point, because if you get paid to do something, you're a professional. And these guys are professional football players. And, yes, Ironhead, you can say for sure there are guys who go to the Steelers organization and they fall in love with Pittsburgh and they go back and they live there when their careers are over. Kind of Green Bay is like that. I think Philly's like that to some extent. You do see that. Yeah. On the other hand, the majority of players on any pro football franchise are just transients. They're just there doing a job, and they don't have any more pride in being a Jacksonville Jaguar or a Tampa Bay Buccaneer than somebody is whether they're working at Walmart or Target. And I just feel like that's the direction the sport is going in, so maybe we need to recalibrate our expectations.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And so going back to the mental strength of this team or lack thereof, I do think that is there's no question that perception and reality has changed in that, well, these are just kids. You need to get in and rally. And, Terry Smith is calling for people to rally around the kids, which is the right thing to do. And that's what you hope the fan base does. But also the fan base, and especially those that have real stakes in the game here, those that are contributing to the NIL at the higher levels. I mean, I guess even at the lower levels, but certainly if you're investing, six figures plus, as many of the fans are, many of the boosters are now. and you know that some of that money is going to the players, that relationship also changes. And I'm not arguing that it's necessarily for the worse. I mean, from my perspective, it is. Maybe it's for the better, whatever. But it is different. I mean, there's just no way that you're looking at that and saying that it's the same as it always was, because part of that, the money you're giving, you're expecting a return on investment. And again, while I've seen a couple of stories, this was Pat Kraft's call. I mean, yes, ultimately it was, but no. If the boosters, if the folks that were contributing to the program were telling Pat Kraft, hey, just wait this out, big guy, James will get this turned around. Right. We have faith in him. Pat Kraft doesn't have a sudden revelation that, oh my gosh, after these 2 weeks, I now realize the program's going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, this is not a cowboy move.
Yes, I mean, this was, the big money folks saying, you got to change. We got to get somebody new. And Pat, like every athletic director at every big-time program is doing, is listening to them because he understands how this whole thing works. And if those folks aren't opening up their checkbooks, it doesn't matter who your coach is, who the players you currently have are. It's not going to work moving forward. So, the folks that write the checks are controlling this thing. And again, all of these relationships are different. And yes, while the players are getting paid, with that comes additional stresses and some mental health components that simply weren't there in the 70s or the 80s. To say nothing of the social media stuff, and yes, all right, players stay off of it. Okay, but are their parents going to stay off of it? Are their girlfriends going to stay off of it? Are their siblings going to stay off of it? Are their buddies? So eventually, a good chunk of that stuff ends up getting back to a good chunk of the players. And that combined with, oh my God, now I'm receiving this money. I need to produce. These people are expecting me to produce, or I may be out of a job down the road. Man, it's just, the whole thing is very different. And so, yeah, I think it's easy for old school guys like us to say, man, back in the day, you got your nose. Well, it's an entirely different world that they're facing. And by the way, back in the day, they weren't being coddled to the degree that they are now. Now, star athletes are always, in a lot of places, we're getting coddled. We're getting, hey, you don't worry about that. We'll take care of it. But when you went on the recruiting trips, I mean, Goon, you tell me. I mean, it was every bit as much, what are you going to do for us, right? Or what are you bringing to Penn State, as much as it was you asking, hey, what's Penn State doing for me? Yeah. Penn State kind of, I mean, Joe Paterno, yeah, we're going to give you a great degree, give you a chance for success in life. Our track record speaks for itself. It's up to you. Well, now, I don't care who you are as a coach and what your track record is. Kirby Smart, Dabo Sweeney, all of these guys, you now have to go tell the kids what you are doing for them and grovel to them for an 18-year-old. Well, of course, that changes your perspective. If you're a 17 or an 18-year-old and you have 15 top-level coaches telling you, man, you're the guy, we love you, we'll do this for you. Oh, well, that guy's doing that for you? We'll do this for you. Well, yeah, and then you get there, and it's like, well, yeah, we're doing that for you, but you need to produce. Like, you need to go out there. Oh, yeah, but my leg's really been bothering me. I wasn't expecting. I don't care. We're giving you this money. We told you what all we're doing for you. You need to be giving us what we want. And even if that's not expressly stated, right? I mean, the kid is feeling that type of pressure.
It's like a North Dallas 40, right? Every time I say it's a game, you say it's a business. Every time I say it's a business, you say it's a game. That's college football now too.
Yep.
Goon, another thing I've been thinking just as we're talking here, it was the perception of everybody from early on in the season, even when we were beating up teams in the non-conference schedule, that nobody looked like they were having fun. And then Terry came out and all but confirmed that in his debut press conference. And I think back to conversations you guys would have on the air that you and I would just have offline. When a guy like Ellis Brooks, who was a linebacker here a few years ago, didn't have great NFL prospects, but he passed up a year of eligibility to go take a shot at the draft and get drafted, and that was that. And I said, why wouldn't you come back? And you said, Goon, you said sometimes guys are just done playing college football because their lives are way more managed now and year-round than ours were. And that was even prior to NIL really setting in.
Yeah.
So maybe one of the reasons why nobody seems to be having as much fun is that, by and large, for a lot of folks, their job ain't fun. And if nothing else, there are the pressures that Ironhead just talked about. And then you hear that story, terrible story in my mind, that Drew Aller just basically described never leaving the Lash building. Like his life was being locked up inside Lash.
Did I not say this last year when I told you they're putting a nutrition thing in, they're putting a study hall in there, and they're putting a dining hall in that building? I said they don't have to leave that building.
They don't want them to leave.
That's
They're
not good.
They're not college football players. They're pro athletes who are sequestered into a little gilded cage on campus.
And they meet nobody.
Paid a lot of money, but I mean, I'm not shocked. That's not a whole lot.
They're not walking down campus. They're not sitting there walking down the street with and there's a 800 kids saying, "Good luck, Drew. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck." No, he's in his cubbyhole in his locker taking a class. He's going to go lift. He's going to get a nutrition. He's going to go to the barbershop, going to go to the massage parlor, going to go play pool, and he's going to go eat, and he's going to go practice, and he's going to go home to go to bed. I mean, there's no interaction with these guys outside of football.
I think it was young Nick Dawkins told you, the first year we did the Players Show, that they had no friends outside campus.
4 years ago. 4 years ago, Nick looked at me, and we were having dinner at Champs downtown, and he said, "Goon, did you guys have friends outside of football?" And I said, "Absolutely." I said, "I probably had, we were on the dorms for a year." He goes, "You what?" I said, "Yeah, we had to live in a dorm for a year before we got an apartment." He goes, "Oh, we didn't do that." So there's guys on my
shout out Porter Hall, brother.
I was 201 Porter, me and Eric Clare, man. Walking down the hall, it was beautiful. 1991 and 1992. Grunge had just dropped. So we were the last room, and the bathroom was down all the other end. You'd walk by each room, and you hear a new CD being played. Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Smashing Pumpkins, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and you're like, dude, this is unbelievable. This is great. I learned all this music. But when Nick asked me that 4 years ago, I was alarmed.
Now,
absolutely alarmed. He said he had no friends outside of football. Now, I know that Nick's not a boozer or a drinker, but a lot of my friends were also guys I met when we were out boozing and drinking, having a good time, meeting some girls and saying, "Oh, this is my friend Chucky," or whatever, this and that. We become friends. I have a ton of friends outside of football. Ton of friends. And then
now, Nick, to his credit, is like the exception that proves the rule. He's gotten out of his bubble, and he has kind of expanded and gotten the most out of his Penn State experience. But again, I think he's, like I said, the exception. And it's just it stinks. And maybe after this thing has been in place for a little bit longer, and as it stabilizes more, we're going to be able to step back and say, boy, there were a ton of unintended consequences in what started out as just a well-intentioned effort to spread a little bit more of the wealth around, as there's like billions coming in off the backs of these kids and their talents, and they weren't getting their fair share of it. I know that's probably like a politically loaded phrase. I don't mean it that way. It's just like, if you were getting a free college degree back in 1980, and whatever, the colleges were making like a couple $100,000 off television rights, and you were getting the same free college degree in 2025, and they're making tens of millions. It's fair to say, well, are we not? Do we no longer have an equitable model? And I think that's what people were trying to get to, but we have stripped out, probably unintentionally, a lot of the good stuff from college football. And if we're just making everybody involved with it miserable to the point where people don't enjoy watching it, or even if we're just, even if we're just creating a situation that's bad for the players who are involved, eventually someone's going to speak up and fix that. But in the short term, Penn State seems to be getting the bad end of the stick.
Well,
there you go.
Well,
you and I were both thinking of other words that we can't use on the air today. But the bad end of the stick today.
Yet again, with Penn State's the canary in the coal mine when it comes to firing the coach midseason.
How about it?
And then paying somebody up, because now everybody's like, oh, well, we can do that now, and then they're going to do it. So I was just going to say, like, this time last week, dude, we were talking last Thursday about kids' efforts and stuff like that. And I mean, and I said it. I said, if these kids don't go out there and give an effort and go out and play this game hard and this and that, poop can the whole, get everybody, blow it up. You know, we're going to start from fresh. And we did that. Now, you made a point last week which still resonates in my head, and that is, in no other profession do you not get these kids get paid no matter what. Like you're saying, they're paid on their past, not paid on their future, not paid like, hey, you guys got to win 8 games, you all get $100,000 bonus. You know, they're just like going to say, oh, we're going to just give you $400,000. Go out and have fun. These kids have already gotten 3/4 of their money. I don't think there's any kind of like if they're not happy here, they're not going to play here. And that's what scares the hell out of me. So,
and don't forget
the 2012 team and how we were led. Look who we were led by. We're led by Letterman's kids.
Yeah.
Marty and Zordy. They grew up watching their dad. They grew up being a little kid throwing the ball in a parking lot. They grew up doing this, and they grew up loving Penn State. How many of these kids grew up loving Penn State right now? I don't know.
Well, one of the only ones I can think of that I would describe that way, we ran off, and now he's 5-1 at Missouri.
Yeah.
Well, there's one who's just like him right now, starting this weekend. Same area, right? Aren't they both from the York area?
You know what? I'm not sure. I should probably know that off the top of my head, but my brain has kind of turned to mush over the last few days, if you can believe it.
Well, what happened? Is anything going on?
Yeah, just say there's a few things keeping me busy.
We're going to take a break here, but the one thing too is, and it's a waste of time, and I understand it, but it's an exercise I still like to think about, which is if the NCAA hadn't had its head up its arse for all those years, if it had actually just done what Joe Paterno suggested they do, give a stipend, for God's sake, $1,000 a month, and then slowly over time increase that, and maybe by now we'd be up to 6,000, 7,000, whatever it would be that they would be making annually.
It's $10 million. If you go to $10,000 a month, it's 120K, 105 kids. That's $10 million.
How different would the world look right now? Because people would have been grateful for the system, and it would have been just a gradual, we'll give a little bit more, and everybody would be happy. We'd have much more equity in terms of the payouts that are being given to the players and all of that. But this all circles back to just an astonishing lack of foresight by the NCAA. It's really hard to comprehend
over a long period of time.
Yeah, never realized that these actions at some point would have to catch up with them.
Hey, Head, I'm sorry, swim practice transport. I got to bounce out here after the break. Just one thing on my way out the door. I noticed we got a comment here that apparently James was going to be live on game day for an interview this Saturday. Can't wait to miss that personally. But I will just say this. If I were to give James any advice, I know there are probably going to be some really attractive coaching offers on the table for him. And he's probably going to take one because, look, the people who get into this business, they got the itch and they got to scratch it.
Yeah.
I would tell him, dude, number one, I think he looked burned out to me in no small part because of all this stuff we're talking about. I doubt, for whatever his shortcomings, I think whoever the next coach of Penn State is, they are not going to believe in the old school model of the college football experience that we all love and buy into as much as James Franklin did. And I think it bothered him a lot, the way that got changed in the last few years. That's the sort of thing that drove Nick Saban and a lot of these other guys out of the game. Jeff Hafley left Boston College so he could just go coach football at Green Bay.
Al Golden.
Yeah, he looked cooked to me. And I just think the life of the television commentator is one of the more attractive gigs, especially talking college football in the country. So if this goes well for him at College Game Day, and hopefully he does not salt the earth of Happy Valley on his way out the door, I would appreciate that, but I'm not going to hold my breath. Either way, he may think about it as at least a temporary career stop and recharge the batteries.
Yeah, I think that's probably not bad advice, whether or not it's taken. And I don't think. I mean, we'll see. I don't think he's going to go scorched earth on Penn State. I think listen. He, as much as anybody, understands it's a results-oriented business. Again, he made several tough decisions, like the one Pat Kraft made with him, with his assistants. So I don't. I would be shocked if he comes out and is at least expresses bitterness here on Saturday.
But would it surprise you if he did?
It would. It would surprise me.
I think only because, Goon, one thing James is great at is message discipline.
Yeah.
I think his agent has to be telling him, like, look, you need to come across as gracious. You need to maintain the moral high ground. I've already got my fellow clients, Kirk Herbstreit and Joey Galloway, telling all of America how the meanie Penn State fans drove you from Happy Valley and you walked on water on your way out. So please don't say anything that undermines that narrative we're meticulously constructing on your behalf.
Well, Booch, before you leave, I want to say this. Let's put the elephant in the room. Let's talk about this supposed asking for the contract extension, being told no, going around Pat's back. Pat finds out. Did that lead to this? I mean, it just seemed to me that James was not there this whole year.
I think it's another brick in the wall. Again, my theory is just looking at body language, thinking about the fact that doing a high-pressure job for 12 years, including everything that kind of went in that time span for James, coming out of the sanctions and then, getting beaten up for losing all those top 10 games and COVID and all of it. I think it's reasonable to assume that as a human being, sometimes you just run out of gas. And look, as I said, James Franklin making a strategic miscalculation in a high leverage situation is not the most shocking thing in the world. He thought he had way more goodwill and political capital than it turned out he did. And he came at the king and he missed. So yeah, I think it was another brick in the wall and probably a pretty big one. But I don't think it was determinative on its own.
I mean, I personally think that when you're saying he's burnt out, it's because he was a micromanager. He had to manage everything.
Sure. Yeah.
He burnt himself out, not the job. So, I mean, we'll talk about it. I know you got to go here, but I mean, we do realize that we need to hire a general manager. There needs to be a general manager in this next structure, because asking the head coach to be what James Franklin was doing was with negotiating the contracts, negotiating with the recruits, doing all of this and that, and coaching this team and keeping these guys. I mean, it's impossible. You need to have somebody in between taking care of all the bullshit work. And that's what he could not hand that off. And that's why he burned out.
BS work is what Goon said there.
Sure.
We're wondering.
I said it's not.
And they have a general manager now, but yeah, maybe a little more high profile. I mean, Franklin wasn't working on the contracts. He might have.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I still don't think Ironhead, my understanding is I don't think Andy Frank exactly does what kind of the explicitly hired general managers like we're seeing like out at Stanford and some of the other programs are doing. So I think, to Goon's point, we do need to buckle down and just say, hey, you need to have these guys working together, but you need a GM and you need a coach.
And have an organizational structure the whole way around that clearly spells out everything. But again, you need everybody pulling in the same direction, which is still, I think, a lot more challenging than maybe what you would think it would be.
Maybe we ought to reach out to Jerry Jones for advice. That worked out real well with him and Micah Parsons, right?
How about it? We will take a break here. Goon and I will be back. Booch, thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. And Goon and I will be right back.
No one likes making trips to the gas station. Well, Lion Country Kia can help. If you're tired of going to the gas station all the time, Lion Country Kia can help with the 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid. Save now with 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months. And get $500 Kia Finance bonus cash. There's 14 available that get 38 MPG combined. Say goodbye to all those pump visits. 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrids start at just $32,285. And be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too. And their selection of certified pre-owned Kias. Remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Ease that pain at the pump with a 38 MPG combined 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid from Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drivable Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS, once again.
The Fox,
Your sports radio.
broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7 The Fox, State College, the Goon and Ironhead.
One final segment here on this beautiful, actually, Thursday afternoon in the Valley of Happiness, Penn State and Iowa. Again, 7 o'clock kickoff on Peacock Saturday night, and we'll see what the Nittany Lions are able to put out there on the field, Goon. Again, I'm just really, really intrigued to see how this thing plays out, both Saturday night and for the remainder of the season. As we mentioned, the Steelers are on Thursday night football this week. The Steelers taking on the Bengals in Cincinnati tonight, and a chance to really solidify their spot atop the AFC North with a victory tonight, and certainly favored. And Goon, it's one of those things where I keep reading a bunch of stuff about whether or not they're for real or not. First of all, I think anybody that thinks we have any definitive answers at this stage of the season you're out of your mind. What you're trying to do right now is tread water. And yeah, if you can get off to a great start, fantastic. What you're really trying to do in the NFL is build this thing to where you are in the playoffs, playing your best football and healthiest at the end of the season. And so, yeah, would you rather be 5-1 right now than 3-3? Obviously, of course. Do I think, regardless of how you look, I mean, look how quickly we went from, well, the Eagles and the Bills, they look like the two teams that are maybe separating themselves a little bit. Well, never mind, not so much. Well, now the Chiefs look like they're coming on. Again, there's going to be jockeying throughout the course of the season. What the Steelers are doing right now is accumulating wins that they can put in the bank, and if they need to make some withdrawals later in the season, so be it. It'll be a nice reserve that they are building up. And yeah, it doesn't matter whether you're that's the beautiful thing about the NFL, is it truly is just wins and losses. And if they can get to 5-1 or even 6-1, because they'll have the Packers at home and a primetime affair then a week from Sunday, if you can get 2 more wins here and get to 6-1, and that's a big if. You obviously can't take anything for granted, certainly with the Steelers, but the NFL in general. But if they can get to 6-1, Goon, they set themselves up very, very nicely for at least getting back to the playoffs. And then again, it's going to be a matter of, well, are they healthy? Do they get a break or two? The thing I do like about Pittsburgh right now is I don't think anybody feels like they're playing their best football yet offensively. Like, that's still very much a work in progress. And I'm more than okay with that at this stage of the season. I want that to be a work in progress. I want that thing to be coming together and, really getting into form in that stretch run of the season. And it feels like they have a chance to do that with the personnel they have now. The offensive line feels like it is getting better. It is getting a better handle on how it needs to work things. I think the receiving core is getting a better feel. DK Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers look more and more like they're figuring out how to get on the same page. So, again, we'll see how it all plays out, but they're in the right division to really help solidify right now their chances for at least getting to the playoffs. And hopefully, if you're a Steelers fan, they can get a playoff win or two when this thing wraps up this season.
You hit the nail on the head by saying they're stockpiling wins. It doesn't matter who your wins are against in this league. It doesn't matter. You got to get in the playoffs, and it's obviously it is the weakest division, the division in the league, because of the 3 teams. But they're dealing with the Browns are the Browns, but the Bengals and the Ravens are dealing with injuries, big injuries to their star players. So that's why they're sliding. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You win games in the NFL, you go to the next week. I mean, that's the bottom line. They're stockpiling wins right now to get into the playoffs and they make their run there. I mean, yes, they're not a great team. They're not playing great, but they're getting better and they're winning. So, I mean, it gets into the playoffs and they just got to be – can't win the lottery if you don't have if you don't play. So you can't win the Super Bowl if you don't make the playoffs. So, yeah, stockpiling these wins right now against these inferior teams and you got to do what you got to do. I mean, I wouldn't be upset if I'm a Steelers fan of being 6-1. What are you going to say? Oh, well, I mean, it's a bad 6-1 because we're not playing. It doesn't matter. You're still 6-1.
What is going to be interesting, and I'm going to knock on wood here because I am really obviously hoping that Aaron Rodgers stays healthy. So the reason the AFC North at the moment looks like the worst division in football is the quarterback play. And, well, yeah, look at that. The Ravens have an injury at quarterback. Oh, look at that. The Bengals have. So the Steelers are getting the best quarterback play in the division, where at the start of the season, there were a lot of folks wondering if the Steelers might not have, even though it was Aaron Rodgers, it was the 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers, whether the Steelers might have the worst quarterback situation in the AFC North. Well, at the moment, again, it is looking very good. But many, including me, still are wondering, can Aaron Rodgers, with that offensive line, get through this season without suffering an injury. And so far, so good, but we're very early on. And it is a little ironic that the other three teams are having the quarterback situations they are, and it's the Steelers to this point, and this point only, that are having success on the health of their quarterback front. And again, it does feel like, I know Aaron Rodgers said this week, he felt like he was a little tight those first couple of games, which is understandable. And he said he feels like it's rounding into form. He's feeling more comfortable, feeling like he can just play looser and let it fly. And it feels like, again, that whole thing is starting to come together on the offensive side. But if you're a Steelers fan, you are really hoping that Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy so that this thing can continue to progress the way it seems to be progressing at this stage of the season.
If you recall earlier this season, before it started, my little brother made a comment and said that the Achilles injury is a 2-year injury. That is not a he played last year, but you're just not there. And, getting through last year and stuff like that, suffering through last year is what he did.
Yeah.
And then this year, he looks like he's playing. He's very healthy. He's playing great. The only thing that worries me is the freaking turf there, dude. Holy crap. What is going on there? Is it because they play that Pitt plays there, and then?
Yes, but they hadn't played. Yeah, they're redoing it. They're saying, Tomlin's saying he's not worried about the future. You're the National Football League. You have to get this figured out. Where you say that player safety is a priority, and then you go out and you have that debacle, and it leads to an injury, it leads to a missed field goal, it leads to they're lucky that it wasn't worse than what it was on the number of injuries and the number of real performance issues. You just can't have it. You can't allow that if you're the NFL. And I don't know what the answer is. The other thing is, no matter what you do, right? So that's the problem with the natural turf. Well, the artificial turf, there's not a great answer here other than to figure out. I think you get the natural turf is still better, but you've got to have a good natural turf that is holding together. And that is not what they had at Acrisure Stadium last week.
They got Pitt playing there. They have the Steelers playing there, and then they play how many Whitfield games there? It's the same every year. Just go to the artificial turf with the natural. It's so much. It's so good. It's like you're not playing on grass. I don't know what the holdup is. It's obviously less expensive to maintain than with the artificial turf, and I don't know. It's just like they seem to deal with that every year, and they're not changing the schedule.
No, that they are not doing. Yeah, that was pretty awful on Sunday. A couple of other notes. Penn State hockey back in action this weekend. LIU will be coming into town for games Friday night at 7:30 or 7 o'clock, and then Saturday at 6. So Penn State hockey team looking very, very good. Like to see them get out to an early lead here, Goon, would be nice, but certainly the firepower that they have offensively is very impressive. Charlie Serrato right now leading the nation in points, and they just have a very good team. Just still a work in progress for sure, getting everybody meshing. But I think that thing is going to be a whole lot of fun to watch all season long. And again, the tickets for the Beaver Stadium game now are on sale for the general public. So if you're thinking you might want to check that out, now would be the time to go online and secure your seats so that you're part of that experience. Goon, as we head into the weekend again, it just is, to me, hard to know what to expect here from Penn State. I'm hearing all kinds of different things. Do you have any feel for how this search process actually is going to work? Because I don't know, like if you have a guy or two that you really want and they're telling you, and I don't know if they do or don't tell you this, but like if you're Matt Rule, right, you might be interested, but hey, call me after the season's over. I really need to buckle down right now. I don't have time to meet. Or do you, if you are interested, hey, yeah, I can manage my time. I got this figured out. We have a great staff. Let's figure out, now you can Zoom call. I don't know if you need to meet in person or not. I don't know. The process itself is just, I'm just really curious about, because I wonder about it. And, one of the things is if you're like Kurt Signetti and you are interested, well, okay, but if your team goes to the semifinals, I mean, you don't want this stuff leaking out that you're talking with Penn State while you're trying to win a national championship with your current team. I don't know. I think that's got to be very difficult, both for Pat Kraft and figuring out the best way to approach these folks and handle it. And then with these folks, potential prospects, how do they handle it when they're trying to get through this season with their current teams and not having, I guess I'm presuming, not having a guarantee that, oh, well, hey, yeah, if I do meet with you, Pat, then you give me the job, and then we can go from there. So you're meeting with the idea that this could get out, and you might not even be offered the job, and now you've created some disruptions potentially within your own locker room.
I think that's up to your agent, to be honest with you. That's where I would go with it. My answer would be they were contacting the agents.
Yeah. And, we were talking about the flights the other week. Do they need to – and again, I've never obviously been involved in this process, but these days, what's the real benefit of meeting in person at this stage? I'm talking about. It's like, all right, your agent says you're interested. Can we not just do a Zoom call and then, hey, I'll keep in touch? Or do you need to be in person so you're getting a different feel on the body language? I don't know enough about it to know how important that is in this technological era that we're in.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. You're right. There's obviously more than one meeting. There's obviously going to be the initial meeting. I don't know. And then you got to come down and you got to start doing X's. I don't know how it works. I really don't. Yeah, I don't know if that has like some kind of like coaching, his list, or does he have a coaching somebody? Are we hiring somebody to help out like Virginia Tech did with some NFL coaches? I don't know. It's all up in the I don't know what to say.
Yeah. It's interesting with the mid-season situation. I just think it adds another level of intrigue, but also I'm guessing some difficulty again on both ends, both for any coaching prospects and for Penn State and Pat Kraft. Anyways, we'll see what happens here Saturday night. Good to talk to you, Goon. And Goon and I will be back on Tuesday with yet another edition of the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead Show. Until Tuesday, be good and be safe.
No one likes making trips to the gas station. Well, Lion Country Kia can help. If you're tired of going to the gas station all the time, Lion Country Kia can help with the 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid. Save now with 2.9% APR financing for up to 48 months and get $500 Kia Finance bonus cash. There's 14 available that get 38 MPG combined. Say goodbye to all those pump visits. 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrids start at just $32,285. And be sure to check out the full Kia lineup too, and their selection of certified pre-owned Kia. Kias. Remember, every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Ease that pain at the pump with a 38 MPG combined 2025 Kia Sportage Hybrid from Lion Country Kia, 1334 Drivable Street off Shiloh Road behind Sam's Club, State College. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. For details, see dealer or go to kia.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Hi, welcome to Timberland Federal Credit Union, a financial cooperative for its members, tracing all the way back to 1973.
Experience Timberland Federal Credit Union, where you're greeted with a smile and financial solutions are tailored to your unique life journey. Here, we're not just financial professionals, we're your neighbors, people invested in your financial needs, literacy, and empowerment. Your dreams matter to us, whether they're about buying a home, growing a nest egg, or embarking on new adventures. TFCU draws from the past and invests in the future, offering modern tools like online banking to give you the freedom to manage your money practically anytime. Additionally, we're passionate about giving back both time and resources because enhancing our community is at the core of why we're here. Visit TFCU in person or online to learn more about our services and apply for a membership today.
WFXS,
your sports radio. Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS America.
98.7 The Fox State College. The Goon and Ironhead.